Hello everybody, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do decals and also explain the render layer stuff. So here you see there's a decal under here and we're going to do this, different parameters, and you can do different sizes and decide how you want it to be. So yeah, this is what we're going to do. But also, when you do with decals, you see this decal is positioned up here and it projects downwards. But it doesn't affect the flies, the particles, and also not the meat. And the way to do this, I'm going to show you the settings you need to do. But first I'm just going to show you the practical thing, and that's the decal projector is here in the render layer that you need to set up before to use. I'm going to show you later. So light layer is on 1, and only the things that is on layer 1 will affect it. So if we look at the meat, let's see, meat, you see it's render layer mask on the default, but not the 1. And the decal is only on the 1. So if I do 1, you see now the decal is on that layer 2. So for instance, the ground floor is on a light layer default and light layer 1. So the spotlight is on the default layer, default light layer default. And so if the ground, if we remove this from layer 1 that has a decal won't affect anything. So sometimes you get the effect, you see the flies are just super black, and if you check them also beyond layer 1, now you see the decals do the flies red too. And so what you want to do, you want to, when you place a decal, you want to swap it to not doing light layer default like everything. You just want it to be on its own light layer 1, and then you can add it to the objects that's going to be affected. So for instance, if you have a player walking over, you don't want the render layer to affect the player. So to set up this, the thing you need to do is, if you go into edit and project settings and in the graphics, and you open this default render pipeline, and here when you do that, you see this render list. So this is the URP render setup, and if you open that one, if you scroll down, now you see I have this one here, but you won't have this decal. So what you want to do, add render feature, and then you do decal, and then this one will pop up. So you do this one, and I'm not sure if you can see this straight away, but you're going to activate this one. And if you don't see this one straight away, the thing you need to do is to go into edit and project settings, and then you're going to do, let's see, where is it? So then you go into this one again, open it up, and instead of going into this one, you go down here and use render layers. So it's under the lighting tab. So you want to check this one, and when you check this one, if you didn't see this one before, then you check it, and then you can do the setup that we just did. So that introduction is about the layers, and now we're going to do this splash from scratch, of course. So I have this empty scene. So we're going to make a fresh shader, and I'm going to do this with shader graph, URP, lit. No, actually it's going to be decal shader graph. And I'm actually going to have the same name. And I'm gonna create a material of this one, and now we have the decal material. So here we do we added decal, URP decal projector, and I'm gonna place it here. So what I'm doing here, you see, it's kind of happening stuff here, and that's because the projecting depth is 1, and we have the position 1 unit above, so it kind of project 1 unit down. So it's exactly on the border where it's going to be projected or not. So just do this a little bit higher. I mean the projection depth. And then I'm going to have it like 4x4. I want a little bit bigger. So I can just show you. Now you have rendering layers. You have it on light layer default. So if you now do, let's say you do have a sphere. And we have it here. And we have another one. So this one here, we don't want, we won't want it to affect this one, but we want it to affect this one. So as I showed you before, the way you do this one, first off, we do the product decal. It's not going to be on the default where everything is affected. So you turn it off and do its own light layer 1. And now you want this one to be affected. So you want the regular lights to affect and also the decal. And this one, we just leave it because we don't want the decal on it. But we want it on the ground. So now we do like this. That's how you do it. Whoops. And now we can remove these two. And actually, I want the meat. So we're going to do the meat here too. And I want the meat texture. So yeah, this is great. And now we're going to do the shader. And the first thing we want to do here. Let's see, are everything set up correctly? I think it is. So the first thing we want to do, we want to make a dot. And the way to do this, if we just do tiling and offset. So now this is 0 and 1 up here, 0 and 1 here. So if we negate this with a half unit like this, now you see 0 in this is in the center, and this is 0.5, 0.5, and negative 0.5, and negative 0.5. So if we just do a distance, so now we measure all the pixels. Well, so the value from here to the center is like 0.5 or 1-ish. I think it's 0.5, yeah. And so this is how we do the dot. And then we're just gonna have this saturate, and it's always clamping, so we always know that it's between 0 and 1, because we're gonna do some stuff here later, and it's just kind of a safe thing to do. And then we're gonna do 1 minus, and let's see. This is gonna be into the alpha. So if we put the scene down here, and we just make a little bit more room here, we can remove this one. So this is what we have. And if we save this asset, let's see. So this, first off, we don't have the material on the decal, I noticed. So the decal needs the material placed here on the material. So we do that. And now you see we have the effect here. So it works. So this is perfect. So now we want to do some sharpening, and we want to do the size. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a float here. And this is going to be the size. And we're also going to do the sharpen like this. So this is going to be a slider from 0 to 1. And also sharpen, we're going to do a slider 0 to 1. So we have size here, and we have sharpen here. And there's a really nice node that we're going to use, and it's called color mask. And if we plug this one up here, and then we want to mask color the white color, and if we start to work here, you see we have control of the how we want it, the dot. So if we save it here, you see we have it here. So this is really nice. And what we're going to do, I'm actually going to do, first off, let's keep fuzziness to 0, so it's really sharp. And whenever we do like this, when this is 0, we have like super big. So when it's white, we filled it up all the way. So that's kind of the maximum. And if we do up here, I think 0.9, that's the most we want. So what I'm trying to say is, if we do a remap and do the size in here, so the size is from 0 to 1, and whenever the size is maximum, we're going to do 0, well, let's see, if we have 1 here, we do 1 in size. So if we plug it in here in range, whenever we have it setting to maximum, we want this dot to be as big as possible. So this is the maximum we have. We're going to have it here in this one instead. And when the size is 0, we're going to have it to like really small, like this. So with this setup, we can, if I save it, and now if we use the size here, is this the correct one? No, decal. So now if we do the material and do the size, we have this dot here. So this is super nice. And now we're just going to do the same thing with the sharpen. So we can just do a new remap. And we plug it in here. So now the remap is not doing anything. So if we do save and do sharpen, you see, so when sharpen is 0, I find it like, then it's going to be blurry. But when sharpen is 1, like fully, it's going to be sharp here. So now it's kind of the opposite. So what we just do here, when 0, then it's equal to 1. When the value sharpen is 1, it's going to be equal to 0. So this is kind of just inverted. So we save it, and now we have it like a sharpen. Super nice. So this is kind of the setup for the circle. So this is cool. This is super nice. And what we want also, of course, we want a color. So we have the color, and we put it here and plug it into the base. Perfect. And we're going to have like reddish dark. Save it. And you see now we're starting to get this super nice. So let's move the meat into position. We can actually do it a little bit smaller. So now we're going to work on the noise. So we have a circle, but we want this circle to be a little bit noisy on the edges. So the way to do this is that if we down here, in the tiling and offset, we need to offset this information. So if we just do an UV here and plug it in, we haven't done any changes. So then we can just add here. And now we're adding 0. So still everything is as before. There is no change. So here we're going to do some noise to change it. And so if we do a simple noise and we just plug it up in here and save it. See, now it's starting to get like this. And we can do a noise float. Let's see, noise scale, and we plug it in here. And we can actually duplicate it and do noise amplitude. So noise scale, we're going to do noise scale between, it's a slider, so we'll do between, the minimum is 1, and the maximum going to be like 50. So we just plug it up here, like this, and save it. And we have the decal here. And see the noise scale. So it works in a way, but you see there's happening stuff here. So what is happening? Well, when you do noise, the noise is adding 0, 1 value. And because here we have 0, if we only add 1, we will only add in one direction. So we also want to add -1 because the noise can go in different directions. So if we do noise scale here and do it like 50, you see, this is black value and this is white value, 0 and 1. So we plug it in here. So as I said, it's 0 and 1, but we want the values to be converted to 0, 1 to -1 and 1. So now the black part is -1. And the 0.5 parts is 0. So now when we plug this one in, you see it's getting better down here. And if we do the noise scale like this, you can see it works. But you can also see it's always going in the diagonal direction like this. And the reason is because we're adding exactly the same noise to both X and Y. So what we want to do, we want to have 2 noises. And we need 2 noises to have different noise on X and Y. So then we do a vector 2 here. So this is going to be in the X. So we can remove this one now for now. It's going to be input here. And we also want yet another one that's going to go into the eye. But it's still exactly the same noise because it has exactly the same values. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a tiling and offset. And this one, I'm going to have an offset. It's not really important, just to do some kind of value here. So now the input value is different. So now you see there is different here. So if you save now, you will see it's not going diagonal, but it's actually going in all directions. So this is so good. This is what we want. And but now we want to change it how strong this noise is going to affect. So that's what this noise amp going to do. So what we're going to do, maybe we don't want the noise to spread it out this hard. So we just do a multiply, and this noise amp gonna multiply this offset from the remap. And if we save now, and the noise amp, we're gonna do the noise amp to slider between 0 and 1 and save this one. So now you see, now we can decide how strong the noise is gonna affect. So yeah, this is kind of everything. This is how easy it is. And also what you can do, and let's see, yeah, so you can do this. Maybe you want to offset the noise because you're really happy with the scale of the noise. You like it to be like this. But then you have another decal and you don't want them to look the same. So what you can do, you can offset the noise. So if you do like this, and actually we need an UV here. So now we're just gonna make an this noise gonna have an offset. So we do like this, and then we do here a float, and we do a noise offset, and that could be from slider from 0 to, let's say, 100, doesn't really matter. And we plug it in here, and this will give us an offset to the noise. And if we now use this, we can just have different variations. So this is so good. Now you can do a lot of different noise. So this is how it's done. So this is what I'm going to show you in this tutorial, and I'm finished. So the last thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to show how I did the setup. So here we're going to just make the decal bigger. The size is going to be bigger like this. And then here I just let's see, where are we? I'm going to make a new material. We're going to do it there. It's going to be ground bricks. And I had bricks. And I'm going to have them like 50-50 maybe. No. Ah. And I'm going to have it really dark. And we're also going to have a normal map. And we have this one here. And that's super nice. And we're not going to have this directional light. I'm going to use a spotlight instead. So we're going to have a spotlight. And it's going to be 0. It's going to be up here, so you can actually see it here. So I'm going to do it a little bit intensity, stronger, and wider. Actually move it up a little bit. There is more. So yeah, the bricks I'm going to have a little bit bigger. Like 100 maybe. Yeah. 75, that's good. And also, what do I want to do more? I want to have some, oh yeah, also the splash. We're going to do this, let's see. We have this flies as well. So I'm going to do the insect swarm I had. And find this floor a little bit too shiny. So smoothness I'm going to take down. And the insect swarm I'm going to have a little bit more. So yeah, this is more or less how I did it. So this is a splash. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you liked the tutorial.